So just to start, I wish to acknowledge elders past, present and emerging, and all the elders of all the lands we work, live and learn on, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'm going to teach you about AI. Now, Gail, I know that Haken has not used AI. How familiar are you with AI, and which AI, if you are?
Use it every day, multiple times a day, just about every hour of the day.
Yeah. Okay.
Predominantly ChatGPT.
Okay. All right. So I might show you a different one that I'm particularly impressed with in the moment. So, of course, we'll put this all up in the playbook and have all the instructions. And I've sent some that I'm going to ask you to open just in case they're not easily readable. But to start with, I need that to be. Can you see that article?
Yep.
And is it easy to read?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So I just want to talk through the process first and then we can read this. So what I've begun to look for is, I'll just stop sharing for a moment. What I've begun to look for is opportunities when I think people are seeing impact insights and how we can collect that story and how I can do that as quickly as possible in a timely way and get some case studies up. Now, case studies for me are sites. Case studies for you are either businesses who are using your service or clients that are using that. So you'd be particularly looking for professionals that meet they're either from different industries or different life stages, or that are good examples of the sorts of service you offer and how it looks different. A family unit versus or someone from overseas relocating, that type of thing. So there is these slight differences, but the template I'm going to give you will do the same. The Mid North Coast is a site, and Bree, if I'm saying her name correctly, she posted up that they had just on LinkedIn settled their 100th professional and 258 people in 18 months. So that was
wow.
And I actually happened to be in a webinar with her for something else, and I said, can we have an interview and catch that? So I had an interview. I asked if I could record it. And when I'm asking that, so these are all the steps I go through. I also say, is it okay to record? I'll write this up as a case study or a blog. I'll show it to you before we print. You're allowed to use it in any way that you like. So it's an asset for them, but it's an asset for, in this case, Attract Connect Stay. So you'd want to do something like that. You definitely want them to look at what you're claiming, just in case you didn't get it right. Bree, when I did that, turned it around really quickly. She played with some of her quotes that she wasn't quite happy with. That's all good. It's fine. It's not research. So we had the interview last Monday. I had a draft to her within 24 hours. She had it back to me by the end of the week, and it was published yesterday. So that's the sort of quick turnaround. Now, this one's not quite a case study. It's more a blog, but for the purposes of what I'm going to take you through, I just want to show you how quickly what we got. So I'll let you have a quick read, not chat, share is what I want, and this blog. Okay, you can read that, yeah? Yep. Great, all right. Put your hand up when you're ready to go. I'm just going to play with my aircon.
Yep.
Ready to go?
Yep.
Go.
Yep. Oh,
So that was her, what she posted up. So we put that into ours.
yep.
Go.
Yep. Yep.
Go.
Yep. Yep. Hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So I wrote that one. So you're my clients. So I wrote that one with either to attract more community connect clients, but I particularly wrote it for the likes of actually both your sites, where this site is actually doing fee for service and they're breaking even. They're not making a profit, but they are breaking even. So, and just some of the things that Bree is saying, and I thought you might be interested in some of the areas that because they didn't win the welcome experience in their zone. They're doing quite a bit of partnership with, but they're pretty close. Port Macquarie does have a community connect, a welcome experience site. So they're working with them. So they're really developing their partnerships as well. And I wanted to give you a sort of a touch of that. So content is important, but the process. So that's a bit longer than we would usually do for a case study. So we provided you with a case study template in the playbook. And so the steps are that you would identify something that's happening, or a really good client or business that is really happy. So you've got to wait for finding those things and then ask for an interview. It's great if you can have some real life pics as well. So that one actually has some pictures of me down in Tari doing some work with the governance group. So yeah, it'd be great to have a good picture of whoever it is, particularly if you're the community connector, to have your face in it as well. So something like that. So pics, right of reply, those types of things. And so then let's see how this works. So I'm going to show you Claude AI. There are a whole lot of AI out there. Most of it has a free version and some of it has a paid for version. Are you using a paid for version, Gail? Yeah. Generally, particularly some of the things I'm going to teach you for ChatGPT, a paid version is what you need to set up a bot in this case. In the pack that I sent you, so I sent you 2 emails today, and can you have a look at, I hope you're not working on your phones, the one that came at 12:59. Okay, so there are some documents in there. So let me then get to include. Okay. So you can systematize this AI. Have you done any of this, Gail? Created a bot for repeating tasks? Okay, so let's call this creating a case study with AI. Right, this AI is called Claude, and I actually think Claude is more suited to the academic in me and is less marketing in its approach. And so we're using this for CCP case studies. Create project. All right, so set project instructions. And I'll show you, Gail, how to do this on ChatGPT afterwards. In the documents I sent you, I'm looking for, it's called ChatGPT. Can you see that document that I've just put up? Yeah. Okay, I'm interested in all of this. No, that's not the document. I've sent you the wrong one. Sorry. You'll have to bear with me. I've never had to try and open so many documents at the same time. So just while I'm here, one of the things that I've sent you in the second email is there is the transcript with free. So you can use any sort of technologies for free transcripts. Teams would create a transcript for you. Trent is another one. So I don't even check these. They won't be 100%, but they're good enough for the purposes. So you need to change your interview into a transcript. So just bear with me. And I get you to jump onto, can you Google the Mid North Coast Community Connector? And I just think while I'm trying to find the right document for you, you might be interested in having a look at their website, particularly you, Gail, and have a look at their pricing structure as well. Can you get that? Let me know if you're having any problems.
Yeah, their website is quite good. I think I clicked on something when you shared it on LinkedIn. I had a look at their packages. I like how it's all presented.
Yeah, I know they're still relatively cheap, but that was where he talks about what she's trying to do there.
Yep.
Send you that. Okay. So to systematize and make quick the sorts of things that you need to provide instructions to the AI. And so we're going to take this and take all of that information, and I'm going to put it in. I think we're still in set project instructions. Can you see that? Yeah. Big enough?
We can now just see the document that you copied from.
Okay. So you can't just let me. Can you see that screen? Great. Okay, so I'm going to take all of those instructions. Okay, so I'm just going to read them to you. Your name is Alex. You're a marketing assistant for the Community Connector program. We offer workforce attraction and retention solutions to rural and regional communities across Australia. Your role includes transforming interview transcripts into compelling case studies, maintaining the challenge solution result format of our case study, creating professional engaging content for Australian audiences, highlighting quantifiable outcomes and benefits. In terms of tone, your tone should be professional and conversational. Using Australian English, that's one Hagen that's really common. For it will continually default to American spelling. Words to avoid, these are just things that I can't stand. Just you'll have your own, so these are not, you can make this your own. Sentence structure, there's some just things that are good ideas. Refer to the case study template as your source of training to be the best marketing assistant for our brand. When crafting the case study, create an attention-grabbing title, blah, blah, powerful client quotes. These are just, and when we're extracting quotes from transcripts, prioritize sections where the client describes the initial process, expresses, etc., etc. I will start the conversation by sharing what transcript I want transformed. Please ask any clarifying questions. So this is a really good thing to ask it to before it gets going, to check that it's got all the things it needs. I'm just going to delete that because we'll put that in. So do's and don'ts. Incorporate specific details about the local CCP, extract or craft powerful quotes from clients' actual language. So the other one, Pagan, is it can make up quotes. It's not to do that. Highlight specific quantifiable results, etc. Don't make up quotes. Don't use American spelling. Don't be vague. Don't exceed 1,000 words, and don't use overly technical instructions. So we're going to save that. All right. Now I just want to edit. That's right. So that's right. Okay. So from this device. So I also wanted. It has a knowledge bank. Okay. So this is. It's going to need some things about knowledge banks. I'm going to give it our template for sites. This is our, so we have a template about describing what a site is, upload from the device, and a previous case study that I did to give it an idea what our case studies actually look like in the end. An overview of the Community Connector program. So it would, and what else? And a template, our template. So all of those things up, we can add a lot more. So any documents that you have, you can add to this.
Okay.
So that it keeps as a knowledge bank. So
nice. Just to interrupt for a very quick second. I know I'm looking away from you. Please forgive me. I don't mean to be rude. I was really struggling to see it on the laptop, so I've brought it over to my monitor. So I am absolutely paying attention. I'm right here.
Okay. All right. So that's like the knowledge bank. And now I'm going to go here and say, I would like to create a case study based on the CCP template for the mid-north coast from transcript and details about the mid-north coast. Okay, so then I'm going to add to that a description of the mid-north coast, and I'm going to add the transcript, which is in the second document that I sent you. There we go. Upload. Okay. And so that's all we need. Okay, so now it's going to ask me some questions like I asked it to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say to it down here, 1, yes, focus on healthcare in this case. 2, what's the second question? Use whatever quant data is available. And 3, would you like to use Kate Dunn as the contact person? In this case, I'd go no. Well, let's go yes for this case. So, right, so this is, so I didn't write a case study, so yes. So we'll go yes to all of those. We lost you, Gail.
Gail just popped a message up saying that she's just popping a camera off because of the internet connection.
I'm still here.
Okay. All right. So here we go. All right. So let's have a look what we think of it. Can everyone read it?
Yep. It's too small for me. Can make it a bit bigger.
Can I make it a bit bigger? Might just copy it, Gail. So edit. I just want this edit, copy, and I'll send it to you. Oh, maybe I can put it in here. Let's see. Nah, too big. All this, the example study. Save, and then I'll just send it to you both to help with reading. Okay, I'm just sending that to you now. Actually. Tell me when you finished reading.
Does a great job.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
Yeah.
So it's a good first draft, yeah?
Mm.
There are some things that I know from the interview she didn't want in there, like the 100 childcare places, because that would create a stampede of locals being unhappy that
Oh,
indeed. There are things that people may have said to you that's off the record or whatever.
yeah.
So it's a good first draft, and then you
Yep.
would play with that. So you can see these very simple steps can get you to a first draft really quickly. Then you do a little bit of tinkering
Mhm.
and send the client or the business the draft and give them an opportunity to feed in. And then you've pretty much got a case study. So would you like me to show you how that looks on ChatGPT?
Sure.
It's the same sort of
Yeah.
thing, but
I just opened it up when you were doing it before to see
okay. So
projects.
you have to be a paid subscription for this to use they're called bots, bot projects in ChatGPT. Just want to, let's see. So can you see that? I'm on a screen.
No.
Okay, let me just back out. So that's it. Can you
There
see
we
that?
go. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So in this case, my GBTs is where you go. So I went over there, Gail, yeah, and went my GBTs. And then I want to create a GBT. Okay, so you create like this. What you like to make? That's not right. This is where it customized shape. Sorry. That's looking a little bit different. Create is what I want to configure. Okay, configure is what you want. So we'd call this AI assisted case study. And those instructions that I copied, that's not the one I want. So I need to go back to those instructions that I wrote. And you would adjust your instructions for your site, but for the purpose of what we're doing, these are sufficient. Paste. And I just wanted to take out this little bit.
So, Kath, is the idea then that every time you want to create a case study, you can just come back to this section within chat and it's already got the instructions loaded. It already knows the tone and the format that you want. Huh?
Yeah, that's it.
Volume.
Yeah, I thought you might like this. So in this case, I'm now going to load it up with the knowledge base that I did in the other one. Upload. So that's an overview of the Community Connected program, a case study, a site description. What's that one of? So we don't want the Bin North Coast. So you'd want to have this one, this site description. Let me just open that for you for a moment. Just show you what's in there. Sorry. You see that?
Oh,
Yeah. So that's the site description. You'd want to finish something like that. Can you see that document?
Yes.
Yeah. It's sitting there as a generic at the moment, but you'd want to complete that for your site, whatever you can
Is that
say.
one of the documents you sent us?
Yeah. So it's just, yeah, a
So
template.
it's like a template.
Of course, put this all, yeah, it's just a template, but I completed it for the mid-north coast.
Yeah.
But yours
can
would
see
be,
how.
you'd want it. Yeah. So let me just stop share and share again. Sorry. So in here, this bit just should go here. I will start the conversation by sharing what transcript I want transformed. Please ask any clarification questions if needed before proceeding. I will lead the conversation and you will respond, research and create as required. We don't want any image generation stuff, web search, Canva, code interpreter, create new action. Okay, so that's done. And create. And I'm just going to say in this case only with me. If you're working in a team, what you don't want is it being broadly available. Okay, certainly not if you put in transcripts. So I'm just going to say save for me. YouTube GBT. So you'll see it sitting up here on the left-hand side. And so I'm going to give it that same instruction. Please create a case study for the mid-north coast using attached transcript and details of the site. So I can upload those from my computer. This is where the example is. So I have the transcript there. So I'm going to upload that and upload from the computer. And the bit I want is about the mid-north coast, New South Wales description. Okay. How well can you read that? Do you need me to?
I'll put it on my big screen over here. That's better.
And Hagen, are you okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Great. Tell me when you're finished. Probably a good idea. I'll copy that so that we've got another example of ChatGPT. Have I just taken that you off the right screen?
No, it's still right.
Right.
You can move it down.
Let me just get back there. All done? So next steps would be, so I might say to it, so ask anything. Just wondering why it's not actually.
No, if I can't, are you talking, darling? I can't hear you. But
Me?
you're not,
I'm
it doesn't
talking.
say you're muted. It's odd.
I'm talking. Can you hear me, Gail?
Gail, can you hear Cass?
I can. I can hear both of you.
So just Gail, if you wanted to change it, so I would say something like, don't mention childcare placements. So specifically, for some reason it's not. Oh, it's going there instead. I can perhaps come out and back in. Can you see what it just did then, Gail?
You asked it to remove anything to do with the
Yeah.
childcare.
Yeah,
And yeah,
and it did. We might just stop sharing for a tick. So in that case, Gail, you just keep, whenever you want to build a case study, up in this left-hand, hi Pagan, can you hear us? Pagan, can you hear us now? No. So just for you, Gail, see how on that left-hand side, you can see the AI assisted case study.
yeah.
So you just click on that and you open it, that will open it up and you start again with what you want to. So you finished with the, but you might just go, this is a new case study and here's the transcript. And so I know if you can think about, Pagan, you can't hear us. Yeah, okay. If you think about and this is why I'm beginning to like Claude AI better than ChatGPT. If you think about what we were given, they were really similar, but I think Claude was juicier. So I actually think Claude is a better writer than ChatGPT.
It looked like there was a little bit more for the user in that Claude example that you showed. The ChatGPT looked pretty good, but the Claude one looked like you could maybe personalize it a little differently, a little better.
Yeah, and you keep working with it. I would go, here's my first draft, and then I often just copy and paste it, and then I do the edits, and then I throw it back in again and go, this is what it's looking like. And these language learning models, they really benefit from you showing them the final draft. This is what we went to print. So it gets smarter and smarter based on what you can show it. So you could put those in your knowledge bank, going, this was the final one we used, and so that it gets smarter about what you're wanting. I always get it to do, I think it can cover 1 million errors that you can make when you're editing. So it's good to put it back in and just go, please check for, as the final thing, that there's no spelling errors, etc.
Yeah.
The other thing I often do with it, if it's got a bit baggy in places, is a common instruction, and I'll send you in the playlist, we'll also put really commonly used instructions for AI. But one of the ones I use is make it more succinct. So I often think it overwrites or it just gives way too much detail. And I'm always going,
upside down.
Say that again.
That kind of waffles on a bit.
It can do. Not in the two examples we've just shown you, but sometimes. So the other thing I'm going to send you is a whole lot of other kind of cheat sheets for how you could set this up for helping you write emails, helping you write, what else is in my sheet list? Have a look. You have a marketing assistant that would help you with copy. Email assistant. I use it for all my emails. I don't know how much email writing you need to do, Pagan. But
it's fairly standardized. It doesn't hurt to have that up your sleeve for sure.
So that's a introduction to the benefits of AI, and I just think for helping you produce content, which I know that was something that you, Pagan, both you and Emma said, you need to be writing case studies. This is how to do it as quickly as possible. So the steps are: find something that's happened, or that client was really happy, or they're a really good example of the sort of client you want, or that business is really engaged. Set an interview with Bree. I didn't do a lot of, she's very skilled, but I didn't do a lot of questions. I just let her talk, and then you'll have a few in mind of things that you specifically want them to speak about. Turn that into an AI generated transcript, and I'll send you some of the guidelines on where those are relatively usually free if you're not doing this all the time. And then you probably would need a paid version of this to really get the benefits of it. In ChatGPT, I don't know how you can't set up there are bots in ChatGPT and there are projects in Claude, but you can do this. You can have 100 types of assistant that will really help whenever you're doing that kind of task to make it as quick as possible. Everything always needs a good look at. So it's supported work, but it's not doing all for you, and it can make mistakes. Every so often I see a figure or something, I actually ask it, where did you get it from? So just watch out for that. It seems to be saying something that you don't have any memory of it, and I think we've got the instructions clear enough about that quotes need to be verbatim. You can take words out, but you can't go changing that.
No, exactly.
And it can develop these kind of, if it's producing things that aren't quite what you want, go back to your set of instructions and make sure that they're as clear as possible. That's probably where the error is. It's doing something or assuming something that it shouldn't be, or you've got more in the don't do this either. But I would estimate it saves me 2 hours a day. I use it for all emails, and I might so how I use it for email is I chuck the email into ChatGPT, and then I might write some quick notes on, I want to reply like this, draft me something, and then I'll see what the draft says. And the smarter it's getting, the better, the less tinkering I need to do. I'd like you to chat to us about what your experience and any recommendations you have for us or feedback.
Oh, yeah, I use it. If I'm struggling to say something, or if I'm just trying to articulate, but I just don't know the right phrasing or the right words to use, or then I'll, in an email, reply. Or if I get an email that's a little bit tricky and I'm not sure, someone's asked me for feedback on something and I'm not sure how to tell them what they like, I don't like the idea, or yeah, it's really handy to be able to give constructive feedback that's not going to be taken as a personal attack. I just find it over time, when you're using it, yeah, it learns from what you like. So email replies work really well. I think sometimes I can catch myself using it and not really having the information. I'm missing out on the learning part. For example, I could put a paper in it and ask it to give me the highlights of the paper, or give me a review of the things in relation to a certain program we might be running. To me, if I do that too much and I don't actually spend the time consuming the topic enough, then I feel like I'm missing out on that learning stage.
Yeah.
So I just need to be careful when doing that. But we use it like our marketing assistant, Noah. He uses it for any contents that's coming into us. He'll just load it in there and ask it to rewrite it as a website article. But using that my GPT, I can see how that would, because he's always having to correct it. It's not doing exactly what he asks. So
yeah.
The other day, like I did a LinkedIn post, I saw that post by Mid Coast Communities that you had shared. And so I copied that post and put it into ChatGPT and asked it to rewrite it for Welcome to Bundaberg, and gave it some parameters around what we are and what we're doing, and posted that. So I think that repurposing, it's a really great tool to do that, and in any which way. So we've uploaded transcriptions and turned them into articles and case studies, but not using that framework. So I think that will be very beneficial, because now we can go back with what it's currently produced, but then put these instructions in it and it'll recreate a whole new article.
Yeah, perfect for that. I think where you've got to be careful is if you don't know anything about the topic. So I'm usually pretty comfortable when I'm working in my own zone, so I'm pretty comfortable about the evidence. But just want to show you both what happened. You were just saying what was happening in LinkedIn, and how, if we're using it, it can just be really supportive of each other's work. So this was, can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah. So this was the post that Bree sent, this one. Okay, so this was the first one. So she said that and she tagged me. And that was what, and I replied, that was AI generated, this reply. But I also used that, so it was in a reply, but I also used it as a repost. So let's have a look at my the reposts. So Claire, okay, there I reposted it so that it came into my channels. Let's have a look. Yeah. Here. And then it gets on to so that you're growing your own audience around this. And let's see who reposted it. So the National Rural Health Alliance reposted it. So that's a great one for me. And Gail reposted it. And there's what she was just talking about. All of that. So I do most of my reposts or most of my replies. I will copy whatever has been said in, say, for example here, and then say I want to reply like this, or I want to emphasize something, and then get it to generate and say it's a LinkedIn post. And that's usually the one that I have to tell it to be briefer. Then I will add tags and that type of thing. Or so here, is that me? Yeah, it is. It's me that created those. So it's a way that we it's a way that we can really support each other's work, and for your sites to really be able to benefit from the evidence-informed approach that underpins your work. So it helps with businesses that you're attracting. So if have you got a LinkedIn account? How are you?
No.
So Glennis hasn't quite done that yet. So
I'm actually I've got a meeting with Emma tomorrow, so I can discuss with her.
I think all your ideal clients are sitting in LinkedIn, both businesses and professionals, and so that it's really worth having a presence. What about you, Gail? Where do you think your ideal clients are sitting?
100% in LinkedIn. Yeah.
Originally I'm set up on Instagram and Facebook. I can't see why bother. Like I have 8 followers versus 1,400 followers. So you can really build this bank. And I think Peter was telling me you can either write an article and post it in there as well. Do you know how to do that, Gail?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you've got a big enough following, which you probably do know, Gail, you can have regular newsletter, which was what I was showing you. We turned into a newsletter. So I find the beast is really hungry, and it's a way of doing my promotion and marketing without it being too onerous. And because I'm working and I'm training a program, an AI, to speak like me and think like me and not over market or any of those. So all those things are really important to me. I don't want to be salesy and a lot of what I post has got no sales. It's just, I like that. And it's a good way of saying I like something and this is the reason why I like that. Or sometimes you'll see me post things like that's 100% correct. That's sponsoring somebody else's work that I think is in line with this. So it's just the more you guys are on that, and I think Gail, I've said this before, you and I are a really good example of how that's working really nicely. You take something and I comment on it, or I've done something and you comment on it, but you make it your own. But it's that brand recognition that benefits. For me, it says I have clients and there are sites, so there is evidence that something, what I say is actually happening. And I suppose for this 100 professionals one, that's a great tile they created, and the impact of that post it's actually, so I think she's had about 50 responses. It's going a bit viral. And that's great. And she used a lot of tags, tagged people to make sure that everyone got to see that. So this is how to get the best benefit out of the time you spend on it. So I think we need to spend stop sharing. Yeah. How do we get efficient at this without it taking too much of our time? So that was an example that I showed you today of how you could do that. And we'll put all of those instructions into the playbook. So both the example that you could run yourself, but also the templates for setting it up yourself. ChatGPT, there's Copilot as well, and Claude AI, and I'll send an instruction sheet too of just general sorts of instructions you should use or suggestions. But I find they're all pretty intuitive, and there's only occasionally, and less so than it used to be, that it gets its knickers and it's not or not, and I just can't get it to understand what I'm trying to get it to fix. Sometimes it's just worth starting over again, starting a new conversation. But generally, I'm finding it's the technology is improving all the time, and I think you beginning to be familiar with it, and mostly you can't stuff up too badly. It's great to have a go, even on a free version. Free ChatGPT is probably the easiest to start with, and just playing with it so you get really familiar with it. There's spelling mistakes in my instructions. The grammar's terrible, and it completely understands everything I'm asking it to do. So it's quite forgiving. And so great for emails, great for marketing, great for replies to posts that you like, all the stuff that we all have as a requirement of our building our base. How do we do that without? And the other one is you could create something into a tile, create a picture like Bree did for the 100 professionals. If there's something, or your great quote, and that might be the picture you use. Good pictures, good tiles, they're all important as well. So that's probably the other side of it. So always having your mind in place for that's a really important story that I'd like to capture. So I just keep my eyes open all the time for what's happening with clients that I think are perfectly ripe for turning into stories. So I've asked Kate, who will be joining us in the future as well, for an interview. So I'm going to do if she's the secret sauce, why does Kate think she's the secret sauce? And so there's another easy blog with a lovely, you can already see it, there'll be a lovely photo of Kate. We'll get her committee to approve it, so they get to use it. This reciprocal, if we like it, repost it, really helps build your base, particularly for your site, Pagan. There's a lot of, because we've been working in the Glen Innes area for a long time. But Gail, I often go back and pick up the ones that like you and invite them to follow me, and that's worth running through the list of my ones who are liking it, so that you can just make sure they're in your group too. So it's ways of building your base. So it's not rocket science, but I do think it's consistent work, and every part of your week should have some part that's devoted to this type of information, marketing, creation. And I tend to use the less productive hours of the day to do it, where I can create something. I may wait till the morning just to reread it, that it's saying what I want it to say. But yeah, and it's great, Pagan, for going, if you need to get a summary of something, say that in 10 words. It's transforming grant applications.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Can you imagine how much you can put into, here's a grant bot or a grant project. Here's all the information about me, my projects, my whatever. Yeah. And then here's the guidelines.
Knock yourself out.
and here are the questions, answer
Yeah.
those. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure. So I'm finding things that used to take me hours and hours, and then so it allows you to free up for when you do need deep thinking for the right things. That this stuff, I don't. It needs a good brain, but it doesn't need all your deep thinking head, and it can save you hours and hours. So I think that's. So anything else?
No, thank you so much for your time, ladies. Thanks, Kat.
Okay, so I will get that posted up. Ara's getting married this week, so I'll wait till Samara's back to tidy everything up and put
Well
nice
done.
borders around stuff. But all of that's just copy paste, and I really encourage you to have a good play. Start with an email, Pagan, and just see what it does.
Nice.
Beware of the American spelling.
Oh, yeah, that really does my head in. I'm
Yeah.
hyper vigilant about
And I
language.
don't know why it is. Even when I put it in instructions, sometimes it just falls into
Yeah.
American. Do you find that
Maybe
too, Gail?
sneaky.
That it
Yeah.
falls back into American spelling and just everything is Z'd.
Yeah.
To the, yeah. So, okie doke. Any questions?
Not from me. Thank you so much, Kath.
Okay,
No.
thank you.
Thanks, Gail. Good to see you, darling.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.